They're very sensitive about this stuff. They're very stubborn about it.
Barack Obama understands why Malia
Obama recently made her directorial debut at the Sundance Film Festival.
Malia Obama just made a shocking move. She stopped using the last name Obama. Now the internet is going wild with crazy stories. Why would she do this? Some say she found out a secret so big it could change everything. Some believe she learned a hidden truth from an old letter, a secret paper, or a big fight. Tune in, because if this is true, the Obama family story is about to fall apart. Malia Obama's name stirs controversy. Whispers, gossip, and out-of-nowhere claims about the Obama family aren't exactly new. But what if, just what if, there's something deeper lurking under the surface? Some internet sleuths believe Malia's latest choices hint at something shocking, like mind-blowing, flip-the-table shocking. Could it be that the former first daughter just uncovered something about her own origins? The kind of thing that, if true, would shake everything we thought we knew about America's most famous political family. But what if a long-buried truth is finally slipping out? Let's rewind. Her decision to use her middle name instead of Obama isn't just some quirky artistic move. It's sending waves through the internet. Some folks are convinced that she's running from something, trying to separate herself from a truth she never wanted to face. Theories range from the bizarre to the downright ridiculous. The latest? That she's not even Barack and Michelle's biological daughter. People are going there. Now hold on. The internet loves a wild story, and the more shocking, the better. But this one has legs. There's something about the way she's distancing herself that's making people ask questions. Why now? Why so publicly? And why does it seem like the Obamas are just letting it happen? Some believe she found out the truth in some dramatic way. Maybe through a hidden document, an old letter, or even a heated argument that blew everything wide open. These same theorists claim that Michelle and Barack, unable to have children naturally, made a hush-hush arrangement to adopt her from a secret source. And now she wants out. And of course, things don't stop there. The conspiracies just keep getting juicier. Some say the Obama daughters were part of some top-secret project, genetically engineered to be the perfect political children. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi thriller. But when has that ever stopped people from believing wild things? The internet has a way of twisting the simplest choices into full-blown scandals. Her wanting to go by her middle name could just be her way of carving out her own identity, trying to be more than just Obama's daughter. But that's far too boring for the rumor mill. Then there's Michelle. The former First Lady has been the center of relentless conspiracy theories for years. Remember when the internet went nuts over claims that she wasn't really a woman? A comedian made a joke back in 2014, and before long, the internet was flooded with evidence. Photos, slowed down videos, even weird breakdowns of her body language. People went all in trying to prove that Michelle Obama was actually Michael. It's insane, but here we are, still talking about it. These rumors aren't just annoying, they're persistent. And the moment you think they've died down, someone finds a new angle. Now they're looping her into it, claiming that her real parents are actually close friends of the Obamas. The theory? Michelle and Barack supposedly couldn't have kids, so they made a private arrangement to take in these girls and raise them as their own. The idea is wild, yet it refuses to disappear. Bringing it back to reality, her decision to use a different name is likely just a personal choice. Maybe she's tired of being linked to everything her parents do. Maybe she wants to be known for her own work. Maybe she's just experimenting with a new identity, like a lot of young adults do. But to the internet, that's far too simple. Every time someone debunks these wild stories, it only fuels the fire. For people who thrive on these theories, any evidence against them is just proof that the cover-up runs even deeper. If Michelle shows a birth certificate, it's fake. If she speaks out, she's being controlled. If Barack laughs it off, he's hiding something. It's a never-ending cycle, and there's no winning. While these stories spread like wildfire, the truth is much less exciting. She is just another young adult trying to navigate life, Sasha is doing her own thing, and the Obamas are still one of the most talked about families in modern history. The difference is, they've learned how to ignore the noise. The real question is, will the internet ever do the same? But to really understand how these stories thrive, we need to look at the broader picture. The public has an obsession with high-profile families. Whether it's the British royal family, Hollywood dynasties, or political powerhouses, People love to dig into their private lives. The wilder the claim, the faster it spreads. And social media? It's a breeding ground for these kinds of speculations. The reality is, growing up in the White House comes with a level of scrutiny that most people can't even begin to comprehend. Every move is analyzed, every choice questioned. And while the Obamas have done their best to shield their daughters from the madness, the internet is relentless. The Obamas are known as the family that made history, the first black family to call the White House home. But history-making moments don't come easy, and behind the scenes, the daughters of Barack and Michelle Obama were dealing with realities no child should have to face. Security details shadowing their every move, the insane pressure of growing up under the public microscope, and the knowledge that any misstep could be plastered across every headline in the country. The kind of pressure that sticks to you no matter how hard you try to shake it. Just when it seemed simple, things took a turn no one saw coming. Trapped in a life chosen for them. Let's talk about parenting under these conditions. Barack and Michelle weren't just any parents, they were the parents. The ones raising their kids while also running a country, and yet they still managed to keep things as normal as possible. The girls had to do their own chores, which, by the way, shocked the White House staff. They had to prioritize school over politics. Remember when one of them skipped Barack's final State of the Union to study for a test? And they had to navigate friendships that weren't based on fame or status, but on actual trust. Something hard to come by when your dad is the leader of the free world. Michelle Obama made it a point to keep her daughters grounded. She didn't just rely on nannies or assistants. She was hands-on, checking in with teachers, making sure they weren't coasting by on their last name. And then there was Grandma Marion. If anyone thought Michelle was strict, they clearly hadn't met the no-nonsense woman who moved into the White House to help raise her granddaughters. While everyone else was starstruck by the glamour of presidential life, Marion Robinson was busy teaching the girls how to do their own laundry. That's right, no spoiled first daughters here. But here's where things take a turn. While Sasha and Malia grew up with a solid support system, it didn't make them immune to the deeper emotional struggles of their unique upbringing. Imagine being a teenager, already dealing with the usual chaos of high school and self-discovery, but with the added stress of knowing the whole world is watching. Every mistake amplified, every move analyzed. That's enough pressure to crack even the strongest person. Then there's the matter of identity. When you're the child of the most powerful couple in the world, who are you really? Are you just an extension of your parents? Do you get to have your own voice, your own ambitions, your own path? For years, they played their roles flawlessly, model daughters, poised public figures. But beneath that polished surface, they were searching for something more. Malia, in particular, has been making waves in the film industry, using storytelling as her way of stepping out from under the shadow of her last name. She took time off before starting college, a decision that raised a few eyebrows, especially in a family where education was practically sacred. But for her, that gap year was about something deeper, finding out who she was outside of the legacy she was born into. And then, the bombshell moment, a revelation from within the family that shook the carefully curated narrative of picture-perfect presidential parenting. What was it? It put the struggles of growing up Obama into an entirely new perspective. For years, people assumed the girls had the best of everything, the best education, the best experiences, the best future lined up for them. But what they didn't see was the cost of all that privilege, the loneliness, the anxiety, the weight of expectation that never seemed to let up. Michelle has always been candid about the emotional toll of being First Lady, but now, through her daughter's voice, the world is getting a deeper look at the cost of being first daughters. The struggle to balance a normal life with the kind of life that history books will document for generations. The pressure to always be on, to never show weakness, to never have the freedom to just be young, reckless, and imperfect. And it begs the question, was it worth it? Did the years of being in the public eye, of living in the White House under constant scrutiny, shape them into stronger individuals? Or did it leave scars that they're only now beginning to process? The truth is, growing up in a political dynasty, no matter how beloved, comes with a price. For Sasha and Malia, that price was their childhood, their privacy, and their ability to make mistakes without the world knowing. And now, as they carve out their own paths, They're finally taking control of their own stories. It's easy to look at them and assume they had it all, but when you strip away the fame, the influence, and the high-profile legacy, what's left? Two young women who, just like everyone else, are figuring it out as they go. The only difference? The world is watching. From their childhood wrapped in layers of security to their individual attempts at independence, Sasha and Malia have fought battles most people will never understand. The pressure to meet an unattainable standard is a burden they have carried for years, and now they are stepping into their own, navigating adulthood on their own terms. The future remains unwritten, but one thing is clear: they are no longer just Obama's daughters. They are their own people, and they are finally ready to show the world who they really are. A famous name opens doors, but it can also be a trap. The weight of a name, too big to escape. Malia and Sasha Obama didn't grow up in any ordinary childhood fairy tale. Forget the typical worries about school, friends, and whether they could stay up late on a school night. These two were thrust into a world where every move they made could become a headline, dissected, criticized, and debated by the entire world. When their father, Barack Obama, became the 44th president of the United States, their lives took a sharp turn from normal to something completely surreal. At just 10 and 7 years old, they were no longer just kids from Chicago. They became global icons overnight. Their reality? A world where privacy was an illusion and personal freedom was just a fantasy. Imagine growing up with Secret Service agents shadowing you everywhere you went, even to a friend's house or a school dance. Every outing needed security clearance, every friendship had to be scrutinized, and every minor mistake could snowball into a media circus. No anonymous teenage rebellion, no quiet coming-of-age struggles, just a constant, suffocating pressure to be flawless in front of millions of watching eyes. Michelle Obama did everything she could to maintain some sense of normalcy for her daughters. She set strict household rules: no social media, limited TV time, and school was always priority number one. Living in the White House didn't mean they were exempt from chores. Their grandmother, Marion Robinson, moved in to help raise them, making sure they didn't lose touch with reality despite living in a house built on power, history, and high-stakes politics. But even with a strong family structure, no one could fully shield them from the weight of being America's first daughters, especially as they got older. The world watched them like hawks, waiting for slip-ups, ready to pounce on any misstep. The microscope they lived under intensified every year, magnifying every aspect of their lives to a ridiculous degree. Their wardrobe choices, social interactions, and even their facial expressions were analyzed and critiqued endlessly. Every teenage phase, every questionable outfit, every awkward moment was captured, frozen in time, and picked apart by strangers who seemed to believe they had a stake in their personal development. Malia, the older sister, was the first to feel the full force of public scrutiny. The second she hit her teenage years, she became tabloid gold. Going to a music festival? That turned into a moral debate about how a former president's daughter should behave. Dancing with friends? Cue the outrage about whether she was being a bad role model. Simply enjoying college life? The internet demanded answers. People who never met her felt entitled to police her choices, all because of the last name she was born into. One of the biggest internet meltdowns came in 2017, when she was seen at a festival just being a regular young adult. The internet acted like she had committed some grand betrayal. The absurdity of it all? She wasn't doing anything different from millions of other people her age. Michelle Obama later spoke about the relentless pressure, emphasizing that her daughters deserved the chance to grow up without being constantly judged. Sasha, the quieter of the two, wasn't spared either. She was only a child when she moved into the White House, but even she couldn't escape the expectations placed on her. When she skipped her father's final speech as president, the internet went into a frenzy with wild conspiracy theories. The truth? She had an exam the next morning, but reality rarely stopped people from tearing into her, as if she owed them an explanation for how she chose to live her life. Malia went off to Harvard, hoping for some normalcy. Instead, she got sneaky photos, secret recordings, and relentless public fascination. Even when she chose to use the name Malia Ann professionally in her film and writing career, it spiraled into another round of speculation. Was she trying to distance herself from the Obamas? Was there family drama brewing? The reality was far simpler. She just wanted to be recognized for her work, not her family's political past. Meanwhile, Sasha took a different route. She started at the University of Michigan before transferring to the University of Southern California, staying mostly out of the public eye. But even she wasn't completely free from curiosity. Photos of her at college parties circulated online. People dissected her relationships, and no matter how much she tried to blend into the background, the world refused to let her be just another student figuring out life. The media's obsession with her personal affairs became its own industry, turning even casual outings into moments of unwarranted speculation. Despite everything, the sisters have remained each other's greatest allies. They now live together in Los Angeles, supporting each other as they navigate adulthood outside of the White House bubble. Their mother has spoken about how proud she is of their bond, knowing that no one else truly understands the weight they've carried since childhood. Living in a city that thrives on reinvention, they have worked to build identities that belong to them outside of the expectations the world imposed on them. What's striking is how little they've publicly said about the pressures they faced growing up. No tell-all interviews, no dramatic memoirs revealing the behind-the-scenes struggles. They've chosen to keep their battles private, focusing on building lives that belong to them, not just as extensions of their parents' legacy. Their ability to maintain their privacy, despite the world's insistence on knowing their every move, speaks volumes about their determination to protect their personal journeys. Their story is one of resilience, of learning to live life on their own terms, even when the world refuses to let them go. They were never given a choice in becoming public figures, but they've managed to take control of their own narratives, refusing to be just another political footnote. They are neither tragedies nor tales of caution. They are young women who have simply refused to let their past dictate their future. Barack Obama once said that his proudest achievement wasn't his presidency. It was that his daughters grew up to be kind, grounded women. And maybe that's the most powerful thing about Malia and Sasha Obama. Despite everything, despite the expectations, the scrutiny, and the weight of history, they've emerged not just as the daughters of a president, but as individuals who refuse to be defined by anyone but themselves. They have taken on the challenge of stepping into their own light, walking a fine line between honoring their past and crafting a future uniquely their own. Michelle's absence fuels Obama split rumors. Michelle Obama's absence from major public events sparked rumors of an impending split. While official statements claimed she was just taking time off, the timing raised eyebrows. Then came the Sasha sighting, a simple moment that sent the internet into a spiral. She was spotted looking tense, clutching a book titled Bewilderment, a story about a struggling family. Was it just a coincidence, or was she trying to send a message? Social media detectives wasted no time dissecting the moment, convinced her choice of reading material wasn't random. But then came the tip: anonymous, explosive, undeniable. Barack and his wife have remained tight-lipped, neither confirming nor denying the speculation. But their silence only fuels the fire. If everything was fine, why not shut down the rumors? Why the carefully timed social media posts, the forced smiles, and the overly sweet Valentine's Day messages? This pattern has been seen before with high-profile couples just before they call it quits. The internet is divided. Some believe this is another baseless rumor, while others insist the signs are too obvious to ignore. The intense scrutiny isn't just affecting the former first couple, it's dragging their daughters into the mess too. Sasha and Malia have largely managed to stay out of the spotlight, carving their own paths away from their parents' legacy. But with their every move now being analyzed, it's clear they can't escape the storm. His wife, known for her candidness, has been noticeably quiet. In the past, she's spoken openly about struggles, the weight of public life, and personal hardships. Yet now, when the rumors are at their peak, she's choosing to say nothing. Is this her way of protecting her family's privacy, or is she avoiding confirming something widely suspected? Even Barack, the master of smooth public relations, seems to be handling this differently. The orchestrated posts, the strategically placed public appearances, it's all starting to look like damage control. And this is not unfamiliar territory. Hollywood power couples have tried the same tactics, only to eventually announce their separation. Is history repeating itself? Then, there's the wild card, Jennifer Aniston. Out of nowhere, whispers of a supposed connection between Barack and the Friends actress started making rounds. Most dismissed it as just another piece of internet gossip, but as the narrative gained traction, it started to seem less like a joke and more like another layer to an already complicated situation. Aniston herself tried to laugh it off, but did her response feel genuine? Or was she just trying to steer clear of a media circus? The political world is no stranger to public speculation, but the Obamas were thought to be above the drama. That illusion is quickly fading. A family that once seemed untouchable now faces the same speculation that follows Hollywood stars. It's a shift no one saw coming, and yet, it's happening in real time. What makes this situation more intriguing is the sharp contrast between the public image the Obamas worked hard to maintain and the emerging narrative of a fractured household. In their White House years, they exuded unity, strength, and grace under pressure. Now, each public appearance is scrutinized for any sign of strain. Is the picture-perfect marriage showing its true colors, or is the media simply looking for cracks where none exist? Public opinion is fractured. Some fans refuse to believe that Barack and his wife could be anything less than the ultimate power couple, while skeptics insist that the writing has been on the wall for a while. The truth, however, remains elusive. Carefully crafted statements and staged social media posts won't be enough to quell the rumors. The public demands more, and in the age of viral speculation, silence often speaks louder than words. If there's anything history has shown, it's that no amount of damage control can permanently bury the truth. Couples who once presented a united front, Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, even Beyoncé and Jay-Z, have faced similar waves of speculation. Some managed to repair their relationships, while others confirmed the worst. The Obamas are now at a crossroads, and how they handle this will determine whether they remain an admired couple or become another cautionary tale of a high-profile relationship crumbling under the pressure. Meanwhile, Sasha's demeanor remains a focal point. In the past, she has been seen as carefree, enjoying her post-White House life in Los Angeles. But recent sightings paint a different picture: tense, withdrawn, seemingly carrying the weight of something much bigger than school or career aspirations. Whether intentional or not, her actions are adding fuel to an already roaring fire. Marriage and politics have always gone hand in hand. The public loves a strong, stable couple. A president's marriage isn't just about love, it's about image, power, and trust. A breakup could shake the very foundation of how Americans view their leaders. If a president's personal life falls apart, can they really be trusted to lead a country? That's the unspoken rule keeping first couples together, no matter how rocky things get. Look at Bill and Hillary Clinton. Their marriage took a beating in front of the world, yet they stuck it out. Some say it was about love, others say it was pure political strategy. Either way, they survived. But the Obamas? They were supposed to be different. The golden couple, the modern American dream. If their relationship crumbles, what does that mean for the rest of us? The weight of the presidency is no joke. The stress, the constant scrutiny, the unrealistic expectations, it's enough to test even the strongest bonds. And let's be real, no relationship is perfect. Behind the carefully crafted public appearances, every couple has their battles. Did Barack and his wife's love story hit a breaking point? Or is all this just noise from people desperate to see cracks in an otherwise solid partnership? Their love was once unshakable. Now every move is questioned. The truth is slipping out. The Obamas under intense scrutiny. People are watching. Every public appearance is picked apart like a crime scene. A stiff hug, a missing wedding ring, a slightly distant glance, instant speculation. Some claim Michelle has been standing taller on her own lately, moving with more independence, less attached to her husband. Others argue that they're as strong as ever, and this is all just media hype. And then there's Michelle's future. She's no political sidekick. She's a force of her own. People have begged her to run for office. But would a divorce make her more powerful, proving she's a leader in her own right? Or would it alienate the people who idolize the Obamas as a unit? Would Michelle without her husband still be Michelle as the world knows her? If the Obamas really did split, it wouldn't just be another high-profile breakup. It would be a blueprint for the future. Political marriages have long been expected to last forever, but maybe times are changing. Maybe it's okay for first couples to choose happiness over maintaining an image. But are we ready for that shift? Social media is already on fire with opinions. Some say a split would be understandable, politics is brutal, and even the strongest couples can crack. Others see it as a betrayal, a fairy tale ruined. Every cryptic post, every solo appearance, every speech missing a key mention. It's all dissected instantly. The internet moves fast, and speculation spreads even faster. The media loves to build up power couples just to watch them fall. The Obamas have been no exception, but do they deserve this level of scrutiny? Are we reading too much into things, desperate for a scandal where there isn't one? Maybe, but the fact remains, when a couple is as public and as admired as the Obamas, the world never stops watching. This isn't just about them anymore, it's about what their marriage represents. Love, resilience, partnership. If they go their separate ways, it challenges everything we've been told about what makes a power couple work. Maybe the lesson isn't about whether their marriage is in trouble, but about why we're so obsessed with knowing. The truth? We don't know. Maybe they're perfectly fine. Maybe they're navigating a rough patch like any other couple. But if history has taught us anything, it's that no secret stays buried forever. One way or another, the truth will come out. Until then, the speculation isn't going anywhere, and neither is the world's fascination with the Obamas. The pressures of public life have destroyed many relationships before. Being in the White House is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, but it comes with a cost. The constant need to be perfect, to live up to expectations, to put on a united front. It's exhausting. Any normal marriage has arguments, disagreements, and moments where one person feels unseen. Now imagine going through that with millions of people watching, waiting for a misstep, analyzing every move, and turning the tiniest cracks into breaking news. Historically, first couples have had to endure public pressure unlike any other. The Kennedys, the Clintons, the Carters, all of them faced media scrutiny and public fascination with their personal lives. Every whisper of a problem became a headline. Every affectionate glance was proof of a love story written in the stars. It's no different for the Obamas. Michelle Obama has spoken openly about the challenges of marriage. She's shared that their love isn't perfect, that there were moments she was furious at her husband, that she felt lonely at times. And yet, despite the difficulties, they stayed together. But does that mean they will always stay together? Nobody can say for sure. Then there's the legacy factor. The former president isn't just a political figure, he's a symbol. His image, his family, his entire existence is wrapped in the idea of change, hope, and unity. A divorce would shake that legacy. Would it make him less of a leader in the eyes of his supporters? Would it tarnish the story that has been told for years? Public figures are rarely allowed to be human. They are expected to be role models, to live in a way that aligns with the ideals people project onto them. But reality doesn't work like that. People change. Relationships evolve. What worked 20 years ago might not work now. And yet the idea of an Obama divorce is still seen as almost unthinkable. Many have wondered if the rumors are simply the product of media sensationalism. The world loves a scandal, and a presidential breakup would be the biggest one yet. But what if there's no truth to it at all? What if the only thing happening here is that two people are living their lives while the world speculates endlessly? Some argue that this level of scrutiny is unfair. The former president and Michelle have given everything to the public. Should they not be allowed to keep their marriage private? Shouldn't they have the right to go through ups and downs without their every move becoming a headline? In early 2025, the world was shaken by whispers that Michelle and Barack Obama's marriage was crumbling. For years, they had been America's golden couple, smart, powerful, seemingly untouchable. But cracks started showing, and the public couldn't look away. Then came the wild rumors. The former president and Jennifer Aniston? Really? The idea alone set tabloids on fire. Aniston dismissed it fast, saying she barely knew him, but conspiracy theorists weren't letting go. Was he really stepping out? Or was this just another attempt to distract from the real issue, the state of his marriage? Love and fame don't always mix. Michelle steps into her own, and their story takes a turn, a legacy redefined. Barack tried to shut down the gossip with a social media love fest on Michelle's birthday. He posted a gushy tribute about her being the love of his life and how lucky he was. Sweet, right? Except it felt like damage control. The internet wasn't convinced. Was it love, or was he just keeping up appearances? The truth is, the Obamas never hid the fact that marriage was hard. She admitted in her memoir that she had struggled with loneliness while Barack was off chasing his political dreams. She held it together, raised their daughters, kept the household running, and now, maybe she was done being the rock while he got all the glory. If they were splitting, what would that mean for her future? She always claimed she had zero interest in politics, but people never really believed her. She had the influence, the popularity, the drive. A divorce could actually make her an even bigger powerhouse, no longer tied to Barack's legacy, free to carve out her own. But there was a catch. Women in politics get judged way harder than men. If she ran for office, the media wouldn't let the divorce go. Would she be seen as strong and independent, or would people spin it as a failure? Hillary Clinton stuck with Bill despite his scandals, and that worked for her career. Would her path be different? The Democratic Party would also have a lot to say. Many saw her as their best shot at winning back voters. Would a separation weaken her chances, or would it finally free her from expectations? There was no doubt that she had the charisma and leadership to stand on her own, but would people let her? And let's not forget public perception. For years, the Obamas were seen as the ultimate power couple. A divorce would rewrite that narrative. Would she be embraced as a survivor of a broken marriage, or would it overshadow everything else she had achieved? Some analysts thought a split could actually boost her. Without Barack, she could be seen as her own person rather than just a former first lady. She had already proven she could lead movements. Her work on education, health, and voting rights spoke for itself. But how the media framed it would make all the difference. Would they focus on her power, or would they turn it into a soap opera? At the end of the day, Michelle Obama was bigger than her marriage. She was a force, with or without Barack. If she ever stepped into politics, the world would watch. And divorced or not, she'd have an army of supporters right behind her. The speculation only grew as more pieces of the puzzle started falling into place. She was spotted traveling alone more frequently, attending high-profile events without Barack, and making cryptic remarks about the importance of self-love and personal growth. Those who had followed her closely knew that she never spoke without intention. Was she subtly preparing the world for a new chapter? Meanwhile, Barack's solo appearances didn't go unnoticed either. While he continued to engage in public life, his usual ease seemed slightly forced. Longtime political observers noted a shift in his demeanor, more reserved, less exuberant. He was still the statesman, the eloquent speaker, but something was missing. Was it her? Behind closed doors, the speculation was even more intense. Some insiders claimed the two had been living separate lives for years, held together more by duty than love. Others insisted that while the bond between them was genuine, it had evolved into something more akin to friendship than a marriage. The power couple of the 21st century might have simply outgrown each other. The bigger question remained: how would the public react if the rumors proved true? Would supporters rally behind her, championing her as an independent figure stepping out from the shadow of a presidency? Or would they feel a sense of betrayal, as if the image of the Obamas they had admired was nothing more than a carefully curated illusion? Media outlets wasted no time speculating on what a split would mean for Barack. Would his legacy suffer? Would history be rewritten, reducing their once-admired partnership to just another failed political marriage? Some pundits argued that Barack, as a former president, would remain a revered figure regardless. Others speculated that without her by his side, his public influence might wane. The personal dynamics of the potential split were just one part of the equation. The political ramifications were equally complex. If she did step into the political arena, as many hoped, the scrutiny would be relentless. Every decision, every statement, every past interview would be dissected through the lens of her new status as a divorced woman. Could she navigate that storm and still emerge as the leader so many envisioned her to be? Beyond the political world, the cultural conversation was just as fierce. The Obamas represented more than just a marriage. They were a symbol of Black excellence, a beacon of hope for millions. A divorce wouldn't just be about two people going their separate ways. It would carry weight far beyond their personal lives. Would their legacy remain intact, or would it be forever marked by what many would see as a fall from grace? And then there was the impact on their daughters, Sasha and Malia. While both had largely avoided the public eye in adulthood, they had always been a crucial part of their parents' story. How would they navigate the media frenzy that would undoubtedly accompany a split? Would they become symbols of resilience, or would they be unfairly dragged into the spectacle? For now, everything remains speculation. Neither Barack nor Michelle had addressed the rumors directly, leaving the world in suspense. But one thing was clear: if the power couple was indeed heading toward a separation, it would be one of the most talked about breakups in modern history. And whether together or apart, the Obamas would continue to shape the world around them, just as they always had. If the Obamas really are splitting, does this prove that even the strongest public marriages are just illusions? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that shake the world.